Hello everyone, welcome to StudyIQ English. Let's talk about the persistent problem of food contamination in India. Food adulteration with various dangerous prohibited chemicals, and that continues to pose a major public health crisis. Yes, we are talking about how India has been repeatedly facing episodes of chemical adulteration in food products. One of the most persistent among these contaminants is Auramine O, a very synthetic yellow color dye that is usually produced from compounds such as formaldehyde. And it is completely banned, prohibited under Indian food safety regulations, but sadly it is quite commonly used in various spices, in various food products, including the sweet food products and candies that are targeting the young children. And it has dangerous impacts on health, leading to chronic problems such as organ failure. Over a period of time, it also has carcinogenic effects on the body, and still we are not sure whether we are consuming them in so many foods that we consume on a routine basis, or is our food properly regulated, monitored and safe from such dangerous contaminants. So let's look exactly at what do we even mean by Auramine O and what are the various kinds of food contamination problems that are very common in India. Now, looking at Auramine O, it is a synthetic dye. Yes, it is yellow in color. You can see the image here, how it is very smoothly blended into pulses to add color, into various spices, especially turmeric to add color. And it's very difficult to make out without a laboratory analysis, whether the contaminant is present in these foods or not. It is produced from compounds such as formaldehyde, very dangerous. It also looks like a yellow flaky material, a powder. It dissolves easily when mixed with various other solvents, and that's why it's impossible to make out whether the food that we are consuming has this mixed into it or not. It is used in industry typically, including the textile industry, leather processing industry, printing ink, paper manufacturing, but it is also completely banned for food use in India. Not just in India, in fact, in US and European Union countries also. It is a very bright yellow color, easily available in the market. It's a very affordable material, and yet it is unapproved for use as a food additive. It's strongly prohibited in the country. Now, looking at the dangers, in the US, European Union and East Asian nations, all of these places have classified Auramine strictly as an industrial dye, strictly as to be used in the industrial process. And its presence in consumable foods, foods that we eat, edible materials, that triggers product recall and import alert. If you remember, recently we were talking about how tons of seafood, fish were returned from US. It was literally dumped. All the food came from Indonesia, but majority of the food consignment was found in the US to be contaminated with mercury. Remember, in the news we also spoke about the Minamata Convention. So such episodes where the food produced in the country is contaminated and then it reaches the markets of other countries where impurities are found, it is a huge blemish. It's a huge embarrassment to the country that calls for stricter export regulations. But even if you talk about the domestic consumption, a product that has to be used as an industrial dye, finding its way into edibles is a very dangerous situation. Now, International Agency for Research on Cancer, the IARC, has also classified Auramine as a substance that could have a possible carcinogenic, cancer-causing impact on human body. Despite a strong legal framework, there is a problem of weak enforcement. There is a problem of economic pressures, because all the industries that we saw are labor-intensive industries. Majority of them also work through informal sector, unorganized sector setups. Auramine, being extremely cheap and affordable, is used by so many food manufacturing units to add color, luster and appeal to the look of their product, because there is a lack of surveillance. There is a lack of enforcement by the authorities, fragmented food supply chains, the informal sector's contribution in the food, which means this banned dye, Auramine, has been persisting in Indian food at different levels. And that's a very dangerous precedent. Now, commonly it is found in sweet products. Therefore, children are very prone to such consumption. Turmeric powder, street food snacks, which attract so many consumers every day in cities, in peri-urban areas. It gives a very bright yellow tinge, a yellow color to the food. Food becomes more appealing. Simple, just as a marketing stunt, but at the same time, it could have a potentially irreversible impact on human health. Toxic effects could include range of disorders, including liver and kidney damage, enlargement of the spleen, various other carcinogenic problems. Persistent exposure could mean accumulation of this chemical in the body. It could also lead to organ failure in the long run. At the same time, children are the biggest vulnerable segment here because they are more vulnerable to brightly colored candies, sweets, foods, and therefore their vulnerability becomes more compounded as they are more prone to consume these very flavorful looking but dangerous food products. Now, India has dealt with various kinds of food contaminations in the past also. The ones that often make it to the news are metanyl yellow in turmeric, a very commonly used additive. Then rhodamine B in cotton candy. That's why in between in the news there was a huge controversy about how to prohibit the process of making the candy floss or the cotton candy. Dangerous for the color and for the chemicals that it uses. At the same time, Sudan dye, very commonly used to spice. It also reminds us of the controversy regarding some of the very prominent Indian spice or masala brands that were prohibited in other countries, and it was said that they contain unusually high traces of chemicals. Then you have calcium carbide that's used to ripen fruits to make them ready to eat. Urea added to milk as a thickener. Mineral oil to edible oil. Chalk powder added to the common flour that people use, wheat flour. Now this reveals that despite regulations being there on paper, despite the role played by FSSAI since 2006, in reality, there is a lack of public awareness regarding these dangerous contaminants as well as proper regulation by the government is missing. And therefore, once again, as news is coming about auramines, contamination in so many food samples obtained in various cities from India. That just shows that we need to rise up to this major public health menace. After all, if India wants to become Viksit Bharat by 2047, one key area to address is public health. With the burden of non-communicable disease, NCD, on the rise, with the fear of antimicrobial resistance, it is high time at least food contamination needs to be strictly regulated. And now quickly a practice question for you. Consider the following statements regarding Auramine O. 1. Auramine O is a synthetic yellow dye classified by the International Agency for Research on Cancer as a possible carcinogen to human body. 2. This is approved as a food additive in India for limited use in sweets and turmeric powder. And 3. Auramine O is widely used in industrial applications, whether it's leather processing or textile or dyeing, printing, manufacturing. So which of these statements do you think is or are correct? And now, if you have answered the question, if you know the answer already, here's a quick reminder. Today is 25th November, a batch that began on 18th. For admissions, now today the admission process is closing because today is 25th of November 25. Once again, a quick reminder to those who are writing the UPSC 2027 exam. We, with this UPSC capsule plan, are going to give you an assurance, not just I am not endorsing a course, I am endorsing a promise of selection in UPSC 2027 by covering prelims, mains, basic interview guidance, one-on-one mentorship, all GS topics covered, answer writing, essay writing, CSAT our responsibility. Daily news, lots of PYQ and MCQ practice are part of this. The price, unbelievable. 12,999, yes. So if you break down on a monthly basis, it is a very small price to pay for something that's going to support you for more than 1 year, guaranteeing your selection. So make us a part of your preparation journey. Please use code SPLIVE so that I can interact with you and personally guide you through your preparation. code SPLIVE. And for those who are writing the exam in 2028, once again, everything as I mentioned for the 2027 batch are being offered here. Price only 31,999, 15 months plus guidance. Use code SPLIVE, SP Live, but hurry up because this ends today. The admission to the November batch ends today. So whether it's English, Hindi, bilingual, whether it's morning time, evening time, weekend time, we are ready to extend our support to you. Just use code SPLIVE. It's one click away. Thank you.